It should be pretty obvious at this point that I've lost most of my interest in Minecraft and the Hive, and I don't think I'm alone in saying that either. It's the natural progression of things, right? You find something that you really enjoy, whether it's a song, game, or a book, and you spend all of your time with that thing until you burn yourself out on it. The Hive was that thing for me, and playing the server and making videos on it became my life and livelihood during the pandemic because that was all I really could do. I met a ton of new people through the Hive, and I'm so glad that I did, but at the same time, I lost touch with almost all of my friends from the real world. All of the people that I spent the early years of my life with, I just stopped talking to them. And so when I got a message out of the blue that one of them had passed away, I kinda came to the realization that I can't just take friends for granted. Since the pandemic has calmed down, I've reconnected with a lot of those friends, and I've started doing things with them again, and regularly play games with them now. But if you're wondering how this ties back into the Hive, let's fast forward to a few months ago. My friends had started playing GTA 5 again, and I needed to free up some space to re-download it. Naturally, the biggest folder on my computer was my OBS recordings folder, and I just kind of started deleting stuff. Before I stopped myself and realized that some of these memories are too good to delete just so I can free up space for a game that I've played a billion times. Unfortunately, I lost a lot of stuff. I don't remember what at this point, but I still have some. Here's what I've got. So, where do we begin? I guess 2020, where it all kicked off for a lot of people, including me, a 19-year-old university student who started playing the Hive just because it was an easy thing to run on my second monitor during online classes. I didn't really know anyone in the community at the time, I just played because it was something to do. After a while, I reconnected with Pocket, Panduma, and other people that I had known playing Minecraft Pocket Edition back in the mid-2010s, and some of the most fond memories I have of the time are playing endless rounds of Hive SG, beating challenges that we set for each other, and playing in mini tournaments amongst ourselves. We called our little group the Empire, and we might have also gotten ourselves banned from playing the Hive at one point for blatantly cross-teaming just to record a video, and I'm sorry about that. To be completely honest though, I don't really have any unseen footage from this time period just because it was before I really cared about content. I was just playing for fun, uploading it to YouTube, and deleting it off my computer once I was done. Times were a lot simpler back then. But then things changed. I started streaming, and I started caring more about the quality of the videos that I posted to YouTube. Before I knew it, 1,000 views, 2,000 views, 5,000 views, 10,000 views. I was becoming well known, meeting and even becoming friends with people like Dicey's, Ya Boy Action, and DZ, which would have been unthinkable even just a few months beforehand because they were the people you watched for Hive content back then. I have really good memories from that time in late 2020 with Dicey's and Pizzas especially, just because of all the fun stuff we did, like a Manhunt Hitman type of thing in Treasure Wars, the Christmas mega giveaway stream that we did for the community, or the countless times that we just played Hive Treasure Wars or Sky Wars together simply because it was fun. If I had to guess, I was probably spending upwards of 6 to 7 hours on the Hive a day at this point in my life, between streaming almost daily, recording videos to post 2 or 3 times a week, and generally just playing with friends for fun. Was it unhealthy? Probably, but you have to remember that this was COVID times, so what else was I supposed to do? Go outside? But also during this time, a new challenger appeared, and it would end up being the person that I, without a doubt, have spent the most time on the Hive together with. Out of all of the footage that I still have, quite a lot of it is stuff with Evident just because he always had me running my OBS replay buffer to get clips for whatever trapping video he was working on that day. Yes, we may have broken quite a lot of rules, but at the end of the day, we were having fun, and looking back on it, that was what mattered. If you couldn't tell at this point, this video is about friends. Not really just listing friends, because I could do that with much less talking, but more so discussing the friendship I found as a result of the Hive and how that made the whole experience on the server so much better. 2021 was the year that the Hive peaked, for me at least. the updates, the viewership, and most importantly, the friendships that I built. It's kind of weird to think at this point, people that joined the Hive community in the last 2 years probably won't know much of anything about one of the greatest players, content creators, and just in general, one of the greatest people to be in the Hive community. His name was MJ Owns You, and he was a staple of the Hive back in 2021, and funnily enough, I actually kind of resented MJ when I first met him simply because he was so damn good at the game and kind of ruined a tournament I was in just because he was miles better than everyone else that was playing. As time passed and I got to know him better though, I found out that he was one of the most thoughtful and kind-hearted people that I'd ever meet, and there's a reason he was able to build up such a big community just from playing on the Hive. I actually got to meet up with him in person when we went to TwitchCon San Diego in 2022, and it's just crazy to think that we got to do that just because we both played on the same Minecraft server. It's genuinely one of my favorite memories of my content career, you could say. However, MJ told me that he was planning on quitting soon when we met up in San Diego. He figured his time on the Hive had came and went, and he wanted to move on in life. Without revealing too much of what he told me, he said that he had a good job, was going to university to get a degree, and he had people in his life that he wanted to spend more time with. MJ ended up fully moving on from the Hive in 2023, and I haven't contacted him since slightly before that happened. I can assure you though, that even though we all miss him a lot, he's happy with the decision that he made for himself. The Hive Hub is iconic. Or it was, at least. I don't really have any beef with the new one, I just prefer the older one for nostalgia reasons. Now, you're gonna have to bear with me here for a second. Remember the winter variations of the old Hive Hub, and how they would have ice in a circle around the main island, and how the ice would sort of be broken up so you'd have to kind of parkour to not fall in the water? I don't know how many other people did this, but personally, if I was ever in a Discord call with friends while the winter hub was around, you would find me literally running laps around the island, doing parkour while talking to whoever was in the call. I'd frequently see other people, or even just the same friends that I was in the call with, doing the exact same thing. I have no real way of knowing, but I figure I must have done at least a few hundred laps over the 3 winter hubs that I saw. But still, wintertime wasn't the only time that I remember the hub fondly. Back in the day, the Hive Hub was a cultural center of sorts. You'd have the role players, the spinners, the sweat lobbies, and the staff messing around with different perms, YouTuber hubs, and sometimes you'd have all of them at once. I spent so much time in the hub just hanging out with people, and I miss the times when the hubs actually had life. I'll be honest, I started losing interest in the Hive in late 2022. I guess it was MJ that kind of planted the seeds in my mind of wanting to move on and honestly just quit both the Hive and content creation altogether and just move on to other things in life. This obviously ended up not happening because I got a contract to stream a certain amount of hours each month for my org at the time, Charlotte Phoenix, and so that's what I did. Log on to the Hive, stream Skywars for 2 hours, log off, and do it again the next day or the day after. This happened pretty much for the entirety of 2023, and looking back on it now, it's extremely clear why I lost interest. Playing solo Skywars for that long with no variation would do that to anyone. Mid to late 2023 was a pretty dark time for me, and if you were paying attention, it wasn't hard to see. I'm incredibly appreciative of people like Insane Orbits and Danny is the Bomb, both of which honestly kept me sane during this period of my life through regularly checking in on me and talking about whatever, whether it was Hive or content related or not. I know this section of the video isn't explicitly Hive related, especially considering that neither of them really do much with the Hive anymore, but I feel like I couldn't make this video without mentioning either of them. A few months ago, I was playing Hive on stream, and if you know anything about my internet, it just completely shit itself and took my stream down with it. I tried restarting a few times to no avail, and I felt bad, so I went in my Discord and just started playing with my viewers in the voice channel, which is something that I'd never typically do. To tell you the truth, it was the most fun that I had had on the Hive in a very long time, just playing with people simply for the fun of it. I didn't record any of it, but I didn't need to. To me, all that really mattered was that I was having fun on the Hive again. I honestly don't know what the future has in store for the Hive, and to me, it doesn't really matter. I'm just a guy who got somewhat famous in a niche community about a low-resolution block game. But if there's a moral or whatever to this video, it's that you should appreciate your friends and the people that are in your life. I know it's been said somewhere, but the team game modes in the Hive almost always have more players than the solo game modes, and that happens for a reason. I just wish I understood that back in the good old days.